Hello, welcome to Matthew Reads, I guess. So I love some good, delicious book. Well, the Build a Boyfriend Project by Mason Deaver is, I think this is the third book by Mason Deaver that I've read, and it's also the third book I've loved by Mason Deaver. This is Book of the Year material for me, I will state that now, so that is going to be the vibe of this video. You are in fact welcome already. Well, Miss Blurb, she tells us that Eli Francis is stuck in an assistant position at the online magazine Vent when he should be a writer, stuck with a boss who dangles a promotion but would rather Eli just fetch coffee. Stuck working alongside an ex, Stream X by P1 Harmony, an excellent song. Stuck alongside an ex who has no trouble moving up at work or moving on. When Eli's roommates push him to date so he can get over his ex once and for all, they set him up with Peter Park. Tall, handsome and unbelievably awkward. The date is a complete disaster and further proof to Eli that love isn't for him. But when his boss overhears Eli recounting the catastrophic night, he suggests Eli teach Peter to be a better boyfriend through a series of simulated dates that he can then use for an article. But Eli has other ideas. Plays along pretending to write the article his boss wants while secretly interviewing Peter about growing up queer in the South and coming of age dating-wise in adulthood. Eli hopes writing this sort of piece will finally get him the promotion he deserves, and in exchange he'll help Peter how to date. But the more time Eli spends with Peter, the closer they become, and the lines between what's real and what's fake begin to blur. Before long, Eli's forced to face his greatest fears so that he can become the writer he wants and secure the love he's always needed. So, I don't know what it is, but something about a really long blurb, I will say, you look at the back of this, Miss Blurb, she doesn't look that long. But, writing that all down, that is a lot. And, a really long blurb just takes me out. And normally I would make notes and kind of just recount the opening of a book in one of these videos. And I'll make notes on that. But that blurb, because I read a lot of this book on trains between London and Manchester. Ooh, having a life outside of this room. That blurb took most of my notes. Anyway, some of my other notes. Vent felt like BuzzFeed. Vent was basically BuzzFeed with the slop that it put out. Eli does mention that he started working at Vent because of the content it used to put out, but then it ended up just becoming a content slop factory. When it comes to Eli having this job dangled over him, it's because his boss Michael tells him that his ideas are too highbrow for what Vent has become. See the previous mention of the slop factory. Then, cut to the blind date that Eli and Peter goes on. Disaster is an apt descriptor. Peter is an hour late, barely speaks, spills soup on Eli, and my god, poor Peter, he is an embarrassment. Anyway, now I will always and forever, 1, be an all-star, but 2, speak positively on fake dating. It was the subject of the first of my 2 trope talk posts and videos. One day I'll make a third. One day I will make a third. But when it comes to romance, it is absolutely my favourite trope. I don't care that romance is tropey and predictable. That's exactly what I like about it. And ironically, Peter says the exact same thing in the book, because he loves romance books. I see you, Peter. Yeah, but then I came to find that this book where, Eli and Peter, they are simulating dates. Ooh, it's almost like the dates are fake, and ooh, what's gonna happen? The feelings from these fake dates, ooh, they're gonna become real. And you know what? I knew that was gonna happen, and you know what? I was going to eat it up, and I absolutely did. Eat this book up, so delicious. And, this is something that, I'm fairly certain I have said before in one of my videos, that, as much as I do like romance, and, I will read a romance that is just nothing going on and just romance, I prefer something going on alongside said romance. And even though it was obviously Eli and Peter were going to love each other, we needed a reason for it, and obviously it was gonna be the fake dates that they go on end up turning real. Like, with this channel, since I'm only gonna talk about books, like, not every book like I used to, but like books that I feel like I need to talk about Peter now in conjunction with said book, it's rare that I feel smart for clocking something that happens or that is in a book. But there is something that I fully just could not let go of when I was reading this book. So when I had a thought that was in fact thunk. So Peter Park, yes, obviously his name sounds like Peter Parker. The Spider-Man joke was made in the book itself. That's fine. But Miss Peter in the yellow here, Peter's Korean. Cool, a detail about him, we love that. Peter is also a big muscly teddy bear of a man. We also love that. Peter then reveals that with being Korean, he was born in Incheon, he was born in Korea. A slay. Peter then also tells Eli that he has a Korean name, and that his Korean name is Hosok. So Peter is a Korean muscly man named Hosok. So I am in fact going to talk about me for a second, just putting those details about Peter aside. I am in fact, unfortunately, a K-pop fan, as you can probably tell from some of the things over there. This shelf here and the shelf down there that you can't even see, all K-pop stuff. But there is one idol, like a soloist specifically, who made me a K-pop fan, and I became a K-pop fan because I saw gifs of said idol on Tumblr, and I was like, wow, he's hot. And then I just scrolled because I thought he was a model. Then, cut to a few weeks later, he comes up on my dashboard again, and I see, oh wait a minute, he's not a model, these gifs are from a music video for the song called Lose, and who is this idol? It's Wonho. So I then proceed to go watch the music video and be gagged by the music, and then I go and listen to his most recent release, which at that time I believe was Blue Letter. So yes, Wonho there. Wonho there. Wonho also there. Wonho also here. He is absolutely one of my ults when it comes to K-pop, as shown by the photo I just posted with him. But now the thing with Wonho, what is his Korean name? It's Hosok. Wonho is also a big muscly teddy bear of a man called Hosok, just like Peter. So when I spotted on this page, that is when I had thoughts. I did a 1, 2, 3 Nicki Minaj blink moment, even though I think we're mad at Nicki Minaj at the moment because she's being weird online. So let me move out of frame so I can make proper use of said frame. I posted this to my Instagram story asking Mason Diva because I figured Peter had to have been based on Wonho. There was no way that he couldn't have been because the similarities were too similar in my mind. And I am hashtag sitting, where are my real sitters at? Because I love to hashtag sit down. I'm hoping that I get a reply from Mason Diva considering I tagged them. So my thought is if I'm lucky, they'll just reply to my story and give me the answer, or they'll just not answer. Either would have been completely valid. But is that what happened? Miss Mamas, no it is not. What happened was in fact... I just need everyone to ignore the fact that I screenshotted this at 7:33 AM. I was in a hotel at the time. Is it just a single emoji as a response? Yes, but mama, let me get back to centre frame. The gag. The gaggery. The gag of the season, the gag Tina Aguilera, the Jada Essence Hall, look over there, but what are we looking at? Mama, it's the gag. Like I said, the resemblance was too uncanny for Peter to not be based off of Wonho, and the vindication I got from this response, and you might think, Matthew, this isn't important, and you would absolutely be right, but guess what? I am an idgaff girl living in an idgaff world. Idgaff. This was one of those pieces of information I didn't need to know, but I wanted to. Anyway, to actually talk about Peter as a character now that I went on that entire time, I'm not gonna lie, like, that interaction was like half of why I wanted to make this video. Because I love being right about things and it does not happen very often. But yeah, now that you followed that tangent that you are in fact very welcome for, to describe how I feel about Peter, I would go with the phrase, don't piss me off, parentheses, positive. Like, one of the very first things that I noted down, like, Eli made Peter essentially make dating profiles, or like Nicki Minaj Roman Reloaded the re-up his dating profiles, and like on his Hinge profile, one of the prompts he used was, my favourite dish is, and Peter's answer was mugs. And yes, Mason Diva, I also caught the Demi Lovato reference there.
My favourite dish, I like mugs because they're very comfortable in your hand and they hold the hot things that you don't have to touch.
I don't know, it was something to do with Peter just being like so violently inexperienced in basically everything despite being like 30. Like, you see it in the fact like his apartment is so like sparsely decorated and that he just hasn't lived much life outside of being at work. And like, Mr. Man just came off so sweet. He was like so nice. And he was in fact, to circle back
base,
to the going back to
the
circling back
of this
on,
conclusion.
when I mentioned being a romance writer, like, I love seeing myself in characters, and being a romance writer is something I saw in myself in Peter, because like, he mentions to Eli that he's scared of editing the manuscript that he's written, and one of the things he confides again in Eli is that like, not only is he scared to edit it, yes, I am mentioning that point twice, why not? He's like scared to send it to agents because like, what if no one likes it? And like, never mind the pain in the neck that I'm currently experiencing trying to get agents to like what I've written. Like, I fully understand Peter's fear and Peter's pain, because like, sending queries to literary agents, literally 9 out of 10 times you feel it, you're sending an email. Like, that is all you're doing, but it is a terrifying email to send. Over the years, I have had a few full requests from agents, but like, never an offer of representation. Manifesting it one day because I would in fact like to be an author and it is my big dream. But yeah, it was that fear that Peter had that I just found very relatable as a character. And then for Eli, our other main character, bestie Eli, Elisty. Like, I enjoyed him, like, he owned his shit, which I was a big fan of. You know, I appreciated him being #real. You know, he was similar age to Peter, like 28, 29, 30, you know, he had a full-time job but still lived with 2 roommates. And like, I do find it so funny in media when it's someone who clearly doesn't earn enough money to live the lifestyle that they are living. It's something that I think about as well, that like, you'll see a TV show that like has kids, the concept of a TV show having kids, where like the family is meant to be poor, yet the child will just have a massive fuck-ass bedroom with a king-sized bed, and like, sisters, aren't you poor? Like, low-key, I kind of feel like that maybe Malcolm in the Middle is like a good representation of a poor family that you've got like 2 or 3 kids sharing a bedroom, because I feel like that's more realistic of someone who doesn't have a lot of money. Anyway, yeah, you also have Eli being too scared to leave a job that he doesn't like just because it pays his bills. And like, I enjoyed seeing a normal person going through normal things, living weirdly a more normal life, even though I realised the concept of fake dating for an article isn't that normal. Like, Eli just wanted, and it was that wanting that like led him to making the bad decisions that he did make, and to him like feeling more real as a person. Anyway, the best way I can like describe this book is by saying, congratulations, the Build a Boyfriend project. You are the winner of this week's Maxi Challenge, because my god, yum yum yum, so delicious book. I loved it. And you know, when I finished reading it, I did go over to my Goodreads profile and I did slap this on my favourites shelf. And honestly, you know what? This book might not have only won this week's Maxi Challenge, it might also win the entire Serviana Dupree Slay 3000 pageant. Because, like, God, it was just good. I love reading a book that I think is T-City Central, and then I go on Goodreads and it's like less than 4 stars. I love that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Read this book.